Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, you guessed it, I'm continuing on with the challenges from my little scrapbook store. And it's part of the weekend crop that we had in July. We still have until the 24th of this month to complete the challenges. So I wanted to share with you another one that I did. We're going to be doing challenge number 12, which is called surveillance footage. And it's use a black and white photo on your project or create a project that is mainly black and white. Well, we're going to do both. I have this black and white photo that I have of my brother and I. This is the original photo, and I took a picture of it so I could print it out to put it on this layout. I got this stencil from, I think it's Dana Wakley, and to me it looked like DNA, so that's why I wanted to use it. And for this lovely, which is from Vicky Booten, I decided that I wanted to heat emboss it. So I was looking for my black embossing powder and I couldn't find it, but I did have silver. So I was like, you know what? It's silver. It'll go with the grays. Because, with black and white, there's always going to be like shades of gray mixed into. And so I figured the shiny, the shimmery of the silver embossing powder would be really good. So I'm just trying to get the top off of it. I didn't realize I hadn't opened this one, but it's all good. So we're going to just sprinkle over the whole entire thing. And I inked it up using my VersaFine ink, which is pigment ink, so it stays wet longer. So the embossing powder sticks to it. And then we're just going to grab our tweezers and our heat tool. And I'm just going to leave it down on my mat and I'm just going to kind of hold it in place and let the heat tool melt the embossing powder. And you can build it up if you want to make it a little bit thicker as it's wet or heated up. You can recover it with embossing powder or you can ink it up again and, just keep adding layers to make it a little bit thicker, but I like this. It had good coverage and I think it's going to work well. So for the base of the page, I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz. I had it right in front of me and now I don't even see where I put it. Where did I put it, yo? It was right on my desk. That is so crazy. Oh, here it is. So it's the black opaque textured paste. And I'm just putting it in this one section, but then I'm going to decide to actually add a little bit more in the bottom right corner because I think that's where I'm going to do another little cluster. And then I'm trying to just get it smoothed out. So we have our little area there, and then I'm going to put one right here. And what this does is when we create our cluster, we'll have a little bit of it peeking out down here in the corner. And then, of course, with our main focal area it's going to cover up a lot of it, but you'll still be able to see it. And that's what I like about this. All right, and then we're going to set this off to the side, try and clean off as much as I can from my tool so that way I don't lose a single drop. And then we're going to set this off to the side to dry. And I have found that the black texture paste dries really quick. Now for cleanup, I'm using the Myers basil scent cleaner. And it really does clean off not only the glass mat, but the stencil as well. And I always do the top, and then I also clean off the back just in case if any kind of got through the stencil itself. And then any bits that I saw, I just cleaned off and put that to the side. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the packaging. And that's cleaned up and ready to go for the next project. Now for the photo, I am going to be using the charcoal collection from 49 and Market. I like using this one for black and white challenges because they have some like this is more on the gray scale, but they have other pages that it's more specifically black and white, like this one. So I decided to use this one, and I had a scrap piece, so we're going to use a scrap piece. I pulled out the enamel dots because we'll wind up using those, and I'm just going to start figuring out like what pieces we want to use. So if you're a part of my little scrapbook store, you still have time to get the challenges done. We have until the 24th, which I believe is Sunday night. I will be having a Zoom room in Scrapbook Layouts and More. There will be a link Saturday night, so from 5 to whenever. And I plan on working on some of the challenges then during that time, because I think after this one I only have like 4 left, so I'm really like right there at the end, you know. And I'm gonna try and record whatever it is I'm doing, so that way I can share with you even if it's after the time frame, so you could see, you know, what it is that I decided to do for the challenges. So I'm picking out some flowers. I picked out some elements that I think can go with them out of the laser cuts. And what I liked about this particular collection, not only do they have the 6x12, but they also have the smaller version of the laser cuts. So we're going to wind up going through that as well. But first, I want to go through the ephemera. Now, in this one with the ephemera, they do have some of the, if you're familiar with the American Crafts, like papery packs, is like that really thin paper. There's some of that, but then we have also some of the, like the thicker actual ephemera pieces. So we're going to be pulling out a few things to specifically go with that. So I'm trying to I trimmed down my photo, and I'm trying to see what pieces do I have that can go with it that I think would work. And some of the stuff I'm putting to the right, and then the items that I have up above on the main paper, I'm going to keep as well. And I'm like, okay, I can use that on the back. You know, just trying to figure out what out of here I want to use. And once I go through and realize, okay, that's it, we're going to put that all back. And then the next thing we're going to go through is going to be some of the acetate pieces. I like using the acetate. Sometimes, you know, it's hard because you don't know exactly how to incorporate. And sometimes I like to put the acetate on the bottom and then put some of the laser cuts on top. Sometimes I put the laser cut down and then put the acetate on top of it. I just, anything with the acetates, it's a little bit of a, like, you just got to kind of play around with it, you know? Because I don't think there's ever really like only one way. So you just got to kind of play around with it. So out of this small one, I decided to grab 3 hearts. I do 3 sizes, a smaller one and a medium one. I also grabbed a bow that I put over there to the side. And I grabbed one of the like stamp cutouts. Oh, and one of the like lacy bits. They had that in the 6x12, but that one was too long, and I like the smallness of this one out of the smaller laser cuts. And now we're gonna start cutting up our layers. So this one I cut at 6, and then at 4, and that gave me a nice little border around the photo. And then on this one, I decided that I wanted to cut off my branding strip first and leave it at the size that it is, and just cut it at, I think I cut it at 5 inches, something like that. But it gave a nice border around the photos. And then I'm going to take that same piece and just cut like at 3.5 or 3 inches and create sort of like a layout like this. That's going to be the start of it. So now we have our original paper with the, oh my God. Oh, the texture paste. I was like, what is that called? And we're going to start building up our layers and create our focal image. Nothing's glued down. We're just playing. I'm not sure exactly where certain things are going to go, but I have a pretty good idea of how I kind of want it to lay. And these, I just thought they were cute. So I decided to put it like, I was going to do one on one side and one on the inside, but I wind up moving the one right below the photo to the outside. So it looks like those two things are holding down the paper, even though we'll know everything is glued down. Do you know what I mean? All right. And then we just start layering in the different elements. Like I like that flower, and then I'm going to grab one of the acetates. So we have an acetate flower and a die cut. I like that area. I'm going to push this up a little bit. And then lay down kind of where I want this other group of flowers to go. A butterfly up at the top. And then I was like, you know what? I really like this flower. It's a little bit bigger. It's a laser die cut. And then we're going to just kind of create a little layer bit over here with this other flower. But we're going to create a little bit more using these two little stamps and create like a little cluster right there. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to wind up putting the bow on the frame, and I have the dots. So for the most part, everything is laid out kind of where I'm pretty sure where everything is going to go. Okay. So I start taking a few things off, and I decide I'm going to start with my cluster down at the bottom right. Now, mind you, this whole time I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I got to figure out what my title is going to be. Forgetting that you did the title, it's off to the side, right? But in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, well, I'll lay this out. We'll get everything glued down, and then we'll figure out what we're going to call this, you know, what we're going to title it. I'm like, oh, God. Everything's going to be all right. So now I decided that I wanted to put that one a little wonky. I had glued down the acetate and the laser die cut first, and then I put the paper going horizontal, and then the two stamps kind of on top of that. Okay, so I like how that is kind of laying out together. And now what we're going to do is start laying down the photos. So I'm doing excuse me, I'm doing the photo down instead of trying to take everything off and like glue everything that's already down on the top. But I wanted to create like my cluster with the photo. And of course, my tape runs out because that's how it works, people. It never fails. Never fails. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to get this redone up with the ATG tape. And I don't know why, but this little piece was fighting me today. It's funny. Sometimes I can put it on and it just snaps, locks right in, keep it moving. This time it wanted to be funny, but thankfully I finally got it to work and I can keep on keeping on. All right. So again, if this is your first time joining me, I do use the tape and glue. And I do that because I like to have a few seconds to where if I want to, I can pull up and reposition things. And the wet glue gives you that little bit of time. Okay, so we're just going to move things just a little bit off. And we're going to start kind of layering things together. I do have a little bit of glue hanging off, but where everything is kind of on the paper itself, I just want to get certain things down before I put down, obviously, the big thing. And I'm trying to do it to where we can still see some of that mixed media that we did, the texture paste is still peeking out. I like that texture, and I like that it's really dark black. I was thinking at first to do this on black paper and have it be done in the white textured paste, the background, and build up from there. And that's always a possibility too. Even though a challenge isn't necessarily black and white, you can always do monochromatic on any challenge, just as long as you're hitting the thing that you need to do, right? So we can put like an element, a surprise element or something, because I think I forget which ones exactly I have left. Oh, by the way, we're just gluing everything down kind of the way we had it. I went on a tangent there, but that's what we were doing just now. So I got the flower down on the right, while this is the glass stamp is on top of it, so that way it's holding everything down. With textured paste, you want to make sure you definitely use wet glue because you want it to adhere. And I trimmed down that little piece and I'm gluing it at the very bottom. And then I put my block on top of that. And then I just slide it a little bit to the right so we can start laying down some of the flour. And I don't mind parts of the flower going over top of the photo. There's a lot of like kind of open space over there on that side of where the sofa and stuff is. So I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to put the block back over on that side since I just glued that down. And then we're going to start working on some elements up at the top. I put my tab. I put the small little sticker on the photo that says always and forever. I got my frame on top of the little cluster we were building. And then I'm going to put it says family is forever, which basically could have been the title. It doesn't have to always be really big, you know what I mean? As far as your title is concerned, that family is forever is big enough and it stands out that literally could have been the title and it would have been okay. But we have that big lovely and I really wanted to use it. So now we're just putting the little bow, which is so dainty and cute. I love how it turned out. And we're going to start putting down our hearts. And then after that, we're going to put down our enamel dots. And with the enamel dots, I'm like, okay, I always put it down in groups of 3. And we're going to do 3 areas. And unfortunately, it'll be after I put these down that I remember, oh, you got to figure out where you're going to put lovely. Because obviously, I'm just putting down. I'm not even thinking. I'm really not even thinking right at this moment. But I love how it turns out. I love the enamel dots. I don't mind using enamel dots and splattering. I think it's a great combo because then you have the enamel dots that are, they stay in their shape. And then you have the splatters, which can be, any shape or size, depending on how close you are to the paper or how far away. So I'm starting to move this around because I realize, oh, girl, you put down all that stuff and now you got to figure out where to put the lovely. But when I did that right there, I was like, oh, that's the spot. That's the spot. I love how the texture is in the L shape. And I love that the way the lovely fits right there. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can add a few more pieces. I'm not 100% sure. I try a couple of different things. That's too big. So I think I wind up putting the smaller one there. And then I put up the rest of the acetates. So we have acetate and laser cuts on both sides. And then, what's this little piece? Oh, I decided, okay, I wanted to put a couple of more butterflies because I liked the 3, but I felt like I needed like 2 more. So I put that little tiny acetate one down there. And then I'm like, well, that gives me 4. You need odd. So I go back into the storage container that I'm holding this collection. And I had put in from Simple Stories rub-on, and this is from Simple Vintage Essentials. And they work perfectly because they're definitely in the gray and black, kind of creamy, a little bit of creamy background, but I think it's just because of the paper that it's on. So we're just going to rub that down. And I love how then you have like 3 different types. So you have like ephemera, you have the acetate, and then we have even a rub-on butterfly. And all 3 different types work. All right. And then, you know what's next? The only thing left is splatter time. Oh, nope. Take that back. I decided I still had this piece out. I wanted to use it, but I didn't want to use the whole thing. So I just put down one of the little pieces. I couldn't get the other piece down at the bottom, so I just toss it. I don't need it. And now we're going to cover up our photo. And I decided that I'm just going to do black soot. I didn't want to use gold because this is black and white. I wanted to keep it very black and white, gray, that type of thing. The only other thing I would have done different is if we had sort of like a silver toned spritz, or maybe like a hickory smoke. That would have been a good one too. Or even smoke by itself, you know, because it's that grayish, almost white. That would have worked too. All right, you guys. So thank you for joining me. I hope you liked how this came together. I thought it was really pretty, and I always love using black and white. It's one of my favorites to do, which is interesting because it was actually the hardest one for me on this particular challenge, trying to figure out exactly which one I wanted to do. So thanks again for joining me. Keep an eye out. I hope to have more videos showing more of the challenges, even though we're going to be past the 24th. Okay, so thanks again, you guys, and have a great weekend.